It's your boy Scandus, the hip hop original, and we're here with someone I consider an absolute legend and a pioneer in the underground New York hip hop scene. And it's truly a pleasure and an honor to have an opportunity to sit down with this man this evening. And for episode 2 of the Head-to-Head series, I'd like to welcome the one and only Wordsworth. How you doing, sir?
Thanks for having me. I appreciate being here, man. You know, so I'm excited. I'm excited to always do these things.
Awesome, man. Okay, well, how we usually kick these interviews off, man, the first question we usually start with is tell us how you found your way into hip hop. Where did it begin for you?
Yeah, well, I have an older sister, and my older sister Kim and my older cousin Elliot. They're like 4 years older than me. So, you know, me watching them kind of embrace it and wearing all the new clothing, buying the records, doing the dances, freestyling, all of that, I basically was like, oh, I like what's going on watching them as far as the style of it. And then they would bring home different records. So then once I started hearing the records and the music, I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna kind of follow in the footsteps of that. So it was really just kind of watching them do it first as they basically kind of ushered me into the whole aspect and idea of hip hop.
Right. And what came first for you in regards to hip hop culture? Did you gravitate immediately to MCing, or was there another element that took your interest first?
Oh yeah, I think for most of us, you got to be doing the breakdancing. You know, if you ain't, I think we all started with a little pop lock, breakdancing, and dealing with the music side of it first. So it was just like pop lock, breakdancing, the graffiti aspect of it. So doing art, so figuring out if you could tag your name right. And then I think from that, then you kind of gravitate towards also having the clothing. So I think you got to start, you know, because you're young, sometimes starting real young with just, hey, do that dance, or you're doing a dance at a party of your family. And then as you get older, you start understanding the value of having the outfit to look fly doing the dance. Mm-hmm. And then as you got older, then you start saying, okay, where am I going to go from here? Am I going to continue the dance route, or am I going to be the MC, in which most cases the MC was dancing? So now you knew that I danced. Now I need to add the MC aspect onto it. And then it wasn't until like later on that you really started seeing people choose. A lot of people's DJs and MCs too. So it was definitely that way. You start dancing, you figure out your outfit that you want to wear, and then you choose the next thing.
Right. So at which point did you decide to, you know, start writing rhymes and gravitating towards the microphone?
That was at 5th grade, 5th and 6th grade. So I was battling at like 5th grade. I was battling 6th graders. I remember battling Scooby and Tino, like that. I remember them to this day. So I was battling them when I was in 5th grade, battling 6th graders, kind of like just the freestyle, you know, off the top of the dome stuff. And then in 6th grade, and that's when I learned that people started writing rhymes. I didn't know that till like 6th or 7th grade, people started writing rhymes, because back then we had no social media to see inside the studio. We weren't able to see how things were made. So being that hip hop is so organic, right? Like right now, you can start rapping and doing whatever we want to do in hip hop right now. So being that it was so instantaneous that I didn't think there was a plan to it. And so what am I writing? There's no planning. You just start rhyming. The cipher start, you go with what you got. And that's when I started learning about like, okay, I can write rhymes now.
Right. So when you got into writing rhymes, obviously I imagine, as with most artists, the name Wordsworth wasn't the name you started with. So how did we get to Wordsworth?
All right, the first name I started with, I was just kind of figuring it out. And I was like, I know what I'm gonna be, because they had the new school and old school. So I said, I'm gonna be the new school. I'm gonna be the principal. What's the highest thing you could be in a school? So I said, I'm gonna call myself the principal. So that way I'm the leader of the new school. So that's what it was. And then as I got older, And that name never really stuck like that. Like it was just like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I'm outside rhyming, not really being called anything yet. Mm-hmm. So then by the time I got to high school, 9th, 10th grade, that's when I kind of was with my boy. We was sitting in my house and a cartoon came on, Heathcliff.
Right.
And it had a cat, Wordsworth, on it that would always rap and rhyme before he spoke. And he always had headphones on. And in high school, if you look at all my high school pictures, I always had the flyest headphones and I rap. So I just felt like it fit me. Okay,
man. That's incredible, man. So at which point did you go from, taking rap as a hobby to looking at it as a serious profession?
It was high school. It was high school for sure. I think most teenagers, kind of like that middle school, high school area where you start saying, I'm gonna go for this. Because you don't really have a lot of responsibilities right there. You know what I'm saying? Your responsibility is like, I'm waking up, I'm rhyming, trying to find a studio. So you taking it serious because you can just do it anytime without no bills really. So that's when I started focusing on it around high school. And then of course when I went to college, I was kind of groomed from high school. But high school is when I really started like saying, this is what I want to do.
Right. So as you was developing your style of rhyme, who would you say were like your key influences at the time?
Kool G Rap, because the internal rhyme scheme. So as I'm listening to everybody rhyme, and then I would see some of the best rappers, the KRS Ones, the Rakims, even LL, a lot of these, the best rappers, a lot of times I would hear people kind of like in the neighborhoods, and everywhere I would go would always be like, Kool G Rap's the best out of the Juice Crew. Like people would say that, but you never really felt that because Kane had such great records at that time. You know what I'm saying? So like G Rap came out with Road to Riches, and then you had it was Streets in New York is where I really was like, oh, this guy's really that good like that. That which was like the second album. But like overall, it just took time for people to gravitate more towards buying a G-Rap project. But for me, I was like, I want to be the best. And even the best was saying G-Rap was the best, even though he wasn't selling that many records like that. So I just really was trying to, copy G-Rap style. He would always have, go to the block, get still, get chill, and then get pop. So it was like always that middle rhyme. I was like, yo, that's crazy. He's not rhyming to the end until he said something in the middle. So I used to write every rhyme like that. It had to have some internal rhymes before I got to the end.
Wow, that's incredible, man. So obviously you was a part of the original Lyricist Lounge. So how did we get to that point where it was I guess it pioneered kind of the underground hip hop scene as we see it today. Right. So how did you find yourself in that crowd?
Well, the Lyricist Lounge, it was started by Danny Castro and Anthony Marshall, right? So it actually started with them, if I'm right, they like kind of found this place and they would like rent out different spots. And the Lyricist Lounge was never one place. It was all around the city. It was kind of dope because it was kind of like one of those, like, it wasn't a secret, but when you got the flyer from them hustling on the streets, you would find out where it is and you would pop up. So it might be in Manhattan one day on 42nd Street, and then the next day in Manhattan on the Lower East Side. And then next week, it's on 120 something. Like it just was everywhere, but it was so popular when you got that flyer, you had to be there. And then it would be at SOBs. And then what was dope about it is they did like a dope move because the way they would do it would be as an elevator, they would put unsigned acts on there first. It kept putting unsigned talent. But then as it got more appreciated, they would actually get signed acts to host for the unsigned acts.
Right.
Now you're bringing light to all these new dudes like that, new females and stuff like that, as opposed to maybe in some way avoiding to have to pay the heavy fee for that artist to perform, but you can still put them on a flyer.
Right.
And then you know what that's like, right? If me and you see somebody in the flyer, in our mind, we like, they probably gonna do a song or two.
Yeah.
Even if they're hosting. So it was just a perfect way to get people out there, and that's what the Lyricist Lounge was. And then the way, I'm not sure if you want to go into the show yet, but it was during that exposure of the Lyricist Lounge when they got a record deal with Rawkus from the notoriety and gaining all that attention, in which during the making the album, during the making of the album, we were all in that room at Firehouse Studios, about 20 MCs, 30 MCs, in which I did a freestyle, and it got caught on videotape called The Professor. And I was teaching people at home how to rhyme through the camera. And my boy Wise Guy and Gaston, they're twins, and they always had a radio and a video camera. So without them, there would be no TV show.
Oh, wow.
So, of course, it's 20-something rappers in a room. There's no way you're not going to rhyme. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. I just was thinking, how, when the camera comes to me, can I do something different than everybody in this room? And when the camera came to me, I made the wall act like it was a chalkboard, and I was teaching people how to come up with new lyrics. The rappers in the room began rhyming at me, asking questions as I'm the teacher, and I would answer them in rhyme. So that was the first sketch. And that tape gets passed around. It's called The Professor. So now it's like a guy by the name of Jacob Septimus, he sees his tape, and he was down with the lounge then. He goes, yo, this could be a TV show. I was like, man, get out of here. I brushed it off, because at that point, we saw rappers do records and then go to TV. I basically skipped the record deal and went straight to TV. And it's pretty much the story for that.
Man, that's incredible. But I mean, just to backtrack a little bit, man. I mean, you spoke about the album, the original album on Rawkus Records, man, and obviously the lineup on that album is now legendary, absolutely legendary, man. I know you recently posted a photo with yourself in a room with Eminem and some other legends. What was that? And I believe, was it the intro to Lyricist Lounge 2 was Notorious B.I.G. freestyling, right?
No, I don't think Big's on that one at all. I don't think he's on there at all.
Not on the first one. Did he open the second one?
No, Big's not on either of them. But Big he was at the Lyricist Lounge. He actually was one of the artists that debuted there. Like a lot of artists, big name artists, Foxy Brown, big name. That's how well known the lounge was. It was like start here at the grassroots of it, and then go from there with it. At that time, making that album, it was just like important to be on that first Lyricist Lounge album. It was just dope because it was the Lyricist Lounge on audio, because it would have you would have a known artist on a song with the unknown act.
Right.
So it was basically the formula that they used live on the album.
Yeah. So with the first album, how accurately do you believe that depicted what the actual Lyricist Lounge was at the time?
That's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate to what a Lyricist Lounge, because remember there's like interludes in there, and it pretty much depicts a night of being at the Lyricist Lounge. It's pretty accurate with all the skits in it. The people performing, and most of the people on the album were actually there. We all pretty much were friends hanging out at that time. So the way they set it up, definitely, I believe it starts with handing out flyers and talking about, yo, what's up? Yeah, that's what it is and what it was.
That's incredible, man. And when did your partnership with Punchline begin?
Me and Punch met each other when I was in high school through a mutual friend named Sono. First, it was me and Sono, and then Sono, he lived in Manhattan. I went to school in Manhattan, but I was from Brooklyn. And it's so wild how it happened, because the first day that I met Sono was in gym class. So he had to sit behind me because we had the same last name.
Right.
The next day, though, we got a substitute. So there's no gym, so we have to go to a classroom. In that classroom, somebody banging on the table, I'm rhyming. He says he raps. He said he got these other people that rap. I start hanging out with him on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. I meet Punch. Right. Sono goes away to college and leaves me and Punch there. Me and Punch have to figure out what we're gonna do, if we're gonna stay together or not. We still know track masters. We go up on Stretch Armstrong and Bobbito, and from then on, after that, that's when everybody the freestyles went throughout the city, and that's how we got known.
Man, so you guys kind of became a double act off the back of that.
Yeah, because my boy left. You know, the one that I met first, he left. He had to come into.
So what was it like to get the call from Q-Tip to be on a Tribe Called Quest album?
Well, how that happened is the tapes got around, circulated the city, right? Me and Punch freestyles. I mean, we went to Stretch Armstrong Bobbito, then we did DJ Clips and Riz, NYU, then we did Hot 97 with Stretch Armstrong Bobbito. So this tape and us rhyming throughout the city, people were like, yo, who are these two? So we go from there. The Lyricist Lounge says, yo, we want you to do a showcase with us.
Right.
We do the showcase. The host for that showcase doesn't show up. Q-Tip is there. He hosts our showcase.
Right.
We perform. Days later, Q-Tip says, yo, who were those two dudes that I contact the lounge? And then that's how we get on the album.
Oh, wow. That's incredible, man. And it's such an amazing record as well, man. And off the back of that, is that how you guys got the call to be on the Black Star album as well? Or? Now,
crazy thing is, we knew Kweli and Most, but we didn't know Kweli and Most knew Q-Tip. So that's why on the Rock Y'all is Most is on there, because he already had a relationship with Q-Tip. So it just was like two opposite people bringing together a family. So this was crazy just how it happened.
Man, that's amazing, man. And obviously that evolved, like on the second Lyricist Lounge, you got your own track with Q-Tip.
Right. Because that also happened because I was kind of the hot act at that time, because I had a TV show. They're doing the second album. It's like Words is pretty much one of the stars. Let's get him his own song on the album. So we're gonna put him with Q-Tip. And I already had a relationship with Tip.
Oh wow, that's amazing. So let's jump into the TV show now. So that was on MTV, right?
Yeah. I had 2 seasons.
And amazingly groundbreaking at the time. Right. You know, what was that experience like to be like literally your face is global now? That's how we saw you in the UK. That's how we was introduced to you. You know,
Yeah, you know, it's so wild because I didn't even know y'all had the show in the UK until I took my luggage out the back of the van. I literally remember this. I took my luggage out the back of the van, and the person helping me take the luggage out for my first show in the UK said, yo, we love the show. That's when I found out that the show was out there. So I had no idea that y'all knew of me from anything but rapping. So it was like when I got out there and the show had been out there, I was like, wow, this is kind of crazy that the show has been out here and took me to that level.
Wow. That's amazing, man. And so at the time, obviously, you was doing sketch comedy and you was mixing it with the rhymes and that, and you was performing in front of a live studio audience. What was that experience like? And was there a lot of pressure to knock it out in one take or things like that?
Nah, it was fun, man. Like some of them were done in front of a studio audience and some weren't, but the ones with the audience was dope because remember, we're filming the first season of it, so people are in the audience and don't know what they're really there for. Because you're just giving out tickets. You got to get people, hey, come to the show, we're filming a live pilot, and people just show up. They don't know, you don't know what it's going to be. Then when we're doing the sketches, and I remember doing like Save It Private Rhyming, the Army one, and we first start with the, remember, nobody knows what's about to happen. We just come on stage talking and then the beat drop. And then we started rapping. Everybody's like, oh, like, and the audience was like going crazy because they didn't know we was about to start rapping, because that was kind of the formula. Like, we set it up with, you have some dialogue, then the rap, and then kind of go into the scene. So it was amazing to see people's reaction. The pressure was really, there was one time, but it wasn't really pressure though. There was a line that we couldn't say, that we wrote, and the director forgot to tell us. Ooh. So we had to change it while we're filming. It was like, oh, we forgot to tell you can't say that line. So, a few minutes, I just had to think of a line. I only had like 3 minutes to think of a line, maybe 3 to 4 minutes, because we're, holding up money when you're thinking of that. And I knew I had to think of a line that would work. But remember, we're all combined. So if I say a line that doesn't really work, it can mess up the whole storyline of everybody else's rhyme. So that was like kind of like, it was pressure, but not pressure, because I just felt like to make it that far and to kind of, I guess, make it to all the things I've done, I kind of just embrace what it is.
Right.
So it was kind of like pressure, but I was kind of just like, I'm at the job. Right. I was saying, like, all right, let me think of this line. We thought of the line and we changed it. And it was during the newscast sketch. There's a sketch about us doing news, and we had to change the line in there.
Right. That's phenomenal, man. So what was the feeling like amongst the cast when they didn't renew it for season 3?
We kind of felt like we kind of maybe knew it was gonna happen, like that was gonna happen, because season 1 we had a whole different supporting cast of people behind the scenes. We actually had a whole bunch of different writers that were hip hop people. The director was hip hop people. So if you messed up on a line, the director would say, that line ain't flow right. That don't go with that. That's not what you say here. You messed up here. We'll be doing that. The next season, we actually ended up getting Tom Green's staff. So anybody on the Tom Green show, we got his staff of writers and directors who really didn't care anything about hip hop.
Wow.
Yeah, so imagine going from a director that knows every line to, if you mess up, the director would be like, that's it, we got it, we're good. And we would be like, nah, one of us messed up. We got to shoot it again. Do we have to shoot it again? So now you feel that vibe. That vibe is terrible. And then one of the writers was like, I never watched any of your show. He came into the writing meeting and he was coming with ideas. And we was like, yo, we're not doing none of this. We don't do anything like this. He was like, I never seen none of the show. So you got hired to be on a thing. And I remember Jeff saying, Def Jeff was heated. He was like, yo, man, he kept it calm, but he was like, yo, I really advise you to go watch some of these. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Because you coming in and straight disrespect. I don't, like you don't need to watch the show pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So that was the foulest part about the second season. So when you have all of that going on, it's just obvious that it's going to be hard to go to a third season if you got so much tension,
Man, and with such an innovative show, is there any particular reason why we haven't got any reruns of it, or like a relaunch or something like that, a reunion?
I think because you got to clear all the music again. That might be some of it too. Just dealing with the music, maybe the way things have changed too is different, right? Because even like digital wise, it's a lot of different things now. So it might have to be renegotiations, because back then all this, you didn't have uploading it to YouTube. It was, my contract is for TV.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of these things are happening with people in their masters and all that stuff with the records, because the contract they sign is so antiquated to that time of vinyl, cassette, and CD. So now these companies can't really upload it to the streaming services, and the artists are like, well, if you want to, let me get the masters back. And that's where the contention comes in, because they're losing out on money, both are losing out on money. So I think that's pretty much where we are with that. It's just really, I think they would have to renegotiate. We're talking 21 years ago.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, you know, TV rules, laws, and all that's changed. You know what I'm saying?
Man, and it's a shame there was never. Was there ever like a DVD release of it or anything like that?
Nah, no DVD release. I got some episodes on DVD though. I got episodes.
Yeah.
people be asking me, and I'd be like, if I was to give out copies of all the shows and stuff like that, they wouldn't have the value.
Yeah.
It'd just be out there. It'd be out there, and then everybody got it. Pretty much how I feel. But you know, you can find episodes on YouTube and stuff like that. But you know, Viacom owns it, so if they ever wanted to do it again, but they have Wildin' Out, so it's something like it. But after the Lyricist Lounge show came another show that was kind of like the Lyricist Lounge show, but it lasted. Yeah, a lot of people don't recall it because it was called Crash and Burn. Crash and Burn, I think it was called.
Okay.
If you look it up, and it was rapping and everything. They would pre-record the rhymes.
Okay.
And do the sketches.
Right.
And it didn't work. So people don't remember that, but they tried to do it right after another type of show like that. It didn't work. Yeah.
I know, and I know for a fact, personally, I've not seen anything. A lot of people have tried, you know, I've seen even SNL have tried a couple similar things over the years, you know, but they've never really managed to recapture that. So
yeah, there's kind of a, I don't want to say formula, but there is kind of a way to do it too, in some regards. You know, there's a way to do it. So you kind of had to be there, or you kind of got to understand the way to do it. I mean, you'll see it done. You know, as far as we got Hamilton, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's done. Of course, it's done. But as a TV show, it'll be there. You know, you got Wildin' Out. Wildin' Out is similar, but it's more kind of, Wildin' Out is kind of in the confines of like a limited time. So like freestyling about something, you might say one line and it's over and it's a joke or whatever. But like overall sketches, we're talking about sets being built for particular things. It's kind of different. But it works in a musical aspect. So it's happening. And then they had the Carmen. Remember Carmen came out?
Yeah, with Beyonce and most. Yeah.
So they had different iterations of it.
Right. So I mean, final thing on the Lyricist Lounge. Do you think in terms of like the album? So they've done 2 albums. You know, do you think it's a concept that could ever come back one day? In your opinion?
The album, I mean, the album wise, you could kind of do that if you're just an open mic person. So you can kind of do that open mic concept as far as doing an album. You can do it. As far as having the Lyricist Lounge venues again, you would have to kind of follow that format in a way, right? You would have to be like, you're doing Jazz Cafe, Lyricist Lounge is here, and then now it's at whatever next venue here is the Lyricist Lounge, and then we're doing Lyricist Lounge at this venue here, and then you kind of, it's because it bounces around. And I think there's some genius in that, in the fact that sometimes one place may be too far to get to and too hard to get to. Some venue nights are different than others. Capacity, you might have a certain person hosting and you got a smaller venue. You might have a certain person hosting, you need a bigger spot. So the fact that it's not just stapled down to one spot, it can be done. I think it can be done.
Okay. Right. So in terms of your recording output now, you done the EP with Punch, which I thought was really dope at the time. Was there a reason that you guys never did a full studio album together, or?
Yeah, the Punch and Words EP it was a cool album to do, but the way we think about making records is different. Yeah. It just is. We're like 2 different people on writing records, to be honest. Because like he has a different way of type of songs he wants to write. I have type of songs I want to write, and that's pretty much was the vision right there, you know.
Right.
But you get us both on an Ace album, right? And then you get an EMC album with us, right? You still get a Punch and Words album. But remember at that time, when we're doing those projects, Ace is the coach for that project. And with me and Punch, I I can't coach the project. He can't coach the project because we're too different. But when you get us on a project with other people, with somebody that can do it, it's gonna work.
Right.
So we just have two different directions of rhyming. Let's just be honest of what we want to talk about.
Man. So I remember getting your debut LP, the solo, was it Mirror Music, which I thought at the time was phenomenal. I had to have a refresh of it today, man. That Evolved track, phenomenal. What was it like for you to finally step out by yourself and helm down a full-length debut?
I was excited, man. I had a lot to prove. Like at that time, it was kind of like backpacker battle rapper. And I knew that I was more than that. And I knew in order to be here right now talking to you, I had to do more. And that album, I think intentionally on that album, I have like 2 battle songs. I think I got On Your Feet and I got React with a Vengeance. Whatever, I forgot the name of the song at this moment, but I think I got about 2 songs on there with battle. I did it intentionally.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had to do some storytelling and find my niche in order to be here forever. So that album is like songs like Be a Man, People to This Day, you know, like you said, Evil, you know, Run. Those are like songs that people could listen to this day and they're like, man, I love that song. That's Guardian Angel.
Yeah. and even Unity was a phenomenal record, man. That traveled well.
Unity is such a people that like Melanie that's on there, Melanie Smith that's singing on there. She's actually wrote a Alicia Keys record. There's one at least, so she's big in her own right now as far as a writer. She's big. So man, that Unity record was big for me, man, as far as the vibe of it, what I wrote about on there, and just Be a Man, the rhymes on there, like, man, just the rhymes, just being about life. I knew that would last. I knew that would last forever. How dope I am. My wife don't want to hear those rhymes. She hates those stuff. I'll keep it real. She don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? She's the average consumer for me to know when I do something that she likes, those songs resonate. So it's good to have that. You know what I'm saying? She's not gonna be like, if I'm talking about me, it don't even matter. So I'm glad I have people around me to kind of gauge me in that area, you know.
Man, and after the album, did you take like a career break? Because there was quite a bit of a gap between your first and second solo.
Totally. It was, what I learned is I was waiting for something to happen. I was waiting for a particular deal that was supposed to go down. So I was just kind of like trying to wait it out and kind of wait for that situation. And then that situation never occurred. So fortunately, I was touring. So I toured with Ace from 2001 to 2015. So it was 15 years. So I would just be on the road and rhyming on other people's stuff. But that gap, and then luckily being on EMC albums helped fill in those pockets.
Yeah.
But definitely never wait.
Okay. Right. Because I noticed after that gap, we had some, I think he gave us about 2 or 3 collaborative albums after that, like in almost on a yearly basis after that.
Oh, after that, I was just like on this thing. I made a pledge to myself, like to drop an album every year. Drop an album every year, or to drop something every year, whether it's album. And one of the years, last year, I didn't drop an album, but I dropped a book.
Right. Oh, wow. So,
I dropped a book. I don't know if it's called What Words Are Worth Volume 1.
Oh, so named after the album as well, New Beginning.
Yep. Yeah. And I actually break down every 4 bars on New Beginning. And I talk about everything. And I talk about my trips to South Africa. I got pictures of me in South Africa. I think I may talk about London in there too, just like all the places traveling and stuff. But so I dropped the book. That book actually was in the top 10 on Amazon poetry releases.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So that's what I made sure that I would do. So I have, since 2015, there's an album every year or a book. And this year, same thing. I got this project out now. My next album is already handed in, comes out February. The book is the next book is already done too. It's just waiting on some illustrations being done. But I already actually have a printed copy right here next to me too, like reading it. And then I got another album working on with P.A. Dre, and then me and Superstition have an album together. So I got
you just hitting us hard and fast with these exclusives here, man.
yeah. So yeah, man. So I just been working on stuff like that, just like back to back. And I don't want to complain. I want to contribute to it. So I don't want to be like, oh, that's why this is that, and I'm not putting nothing out. So I just want to take advantage of my output and my creativity. So I just go, man. I just go now, and I'm excited with these books. Still, the book did well and still doing well. And man, I did a lot of TV show stuff. I don't know if you know about a lot of this stuff. In between those times, I was doing cartoons. I don't know if you knew that.
Wow. No.
Yeah. So in between that time too, me and Prince Paul have the same publishing administrator. So Paul got called to do a SpongeBob SquarePants movie soundtrack. But he already had the deal for the song to be on it, but he was looking for a rapper. So we had the same publishing administrator. She said, well, why not Wordsworth? So my first time meeting Prince Paul and working with him, we do a song for the SpongeBob SquarePants movie soundtrack, and it's on there. Wow. After that, that's successful. We wound up doing Dexter's hip hop CD, Dexter's Laboratory hip hop CD.
Oh, wow.
Successful. And all of these songs we're doing, they're so successful, they even made cartoon videos for them. So you go on YouTube and watch them with me rapping.
Wow.
So then after that, we wound up doing a kids album called The Dino 5. Me, Charlie Tuna, Ladybug Mecca, Scratch from the Roots, produced by Prince Paul.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm in this lane of doing stuff, even though people may not be seeing me, I'm doing these cartoons. So then fast forward to even today, if you go on Netflix, it's me and Prince Paul on Peabody and Sherman, Season 1, Episode 2. You'll see me rapping as a cartoon, me and Prince Paul.
Wow.
Yeah, so I may have not been dropping necessarily albums, but I was actually doing all these other avenues, actually trying to build branches so I could do other things. So also doing like TV placements. So like the show Power had a song in Power. The movie Hurricane Season years ago, EMC has a song in that. That's with Forrest Whitaker, Lil Wayne is in that. But current stuff, if you check out, there's a movie called St. Judy that has Common in it. At the end of the movie, as soon as the lady hangs up, I start rapping. NCIS, if you watch NCIS, Criminal Minds. So this is where I just found another lane to stay viable and doing what I do. So I might not be doing you might not see me rapping on every album here and there, but I'm doing other things because I just learned to branch out. So yeah, check out the Body and Sherman, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff.
Man, they gonna get someone to update your IMDb, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know who does that stuff there, but like if you read my bio has all of that, and then a lot more with education stuff I'll do, and I don't know if you know all of that stuff. I do education and things like that.
Oh man, so do you lecture at universities or what's the?
Well, yeah. Well, what I do is I'm actually a middle school teacher, and I teach TV, film, and music production.
Oh wow!
And I created the curriculum for it too. Wow. And then we entered contests, and in the past 2 years, we won 11 out of 22 awards. So yeah. And also, man, I just kind of, I guess I could say it in a way. I just got a situation in which a university that I went to is actually allowing me to do 4 modules on something I created, teaching people how to do it. So I'm going to have some 4 virtual modules in which people across the world can pay like a master class, and I'm teaching them some things. So that'll be out later next year. But I graduated from the University of Miami. I got a master's in music business. And I have a master's in secondary education from Grand Canyon. And then I have my bachelor's in language and literature. So all of that stuff comes to fruition to what I'm saying with now me having this master class with a big university. I think it's going to blow people's minds if they don't know about it yet, so.
Yeah, man, that's truly commendable, man. That's incredible, and also that's something we both have in common, because I literally just got my master's in music business as well. So
congratulations, man.
So yeah, man, that's incredible to hear that as well, so I guess the doctorate is next, right? You gotta go get the doctorate.
I thought about it, but like right now my daughter's in college, and then my youngest has got to go to college, and I don't know if it would be too much for me to do right now with other things I'm trying to do, because that's another 4 years. With the masters, it was a year, year for each master's for me. So I don't know right now if I have the time to really go with the 4 years to get to the doctorate situation. But I know a lot of people get the doctorate so they can be professors and become principals of schools and stuff like that. I kind of feel like I don't mind that road, but I kind of hope I can defy that road and path, and just say, like, look at this guy's experience. I don't know if he needs a doctorate when he actually created the curriculum in which we're showing on our university.
Well, so, I think the way things are going, it looks more likely that you'll get an honorary doctorate, so you can skip the 4 years.
I hope, man. My first college, SUNY Westbury, in 2016, I was honored as one of the top 50 graduates ever. Because when I went there, I wrote all my papers in rhyme.
Oh wow!
That's how I graduated college. I wrote all my papers in rhyme, all my subjects, and I have all the papers.
Wow!
I have them to this day. So that in itself kind of was just like groundbreaking then. Because I was writing in Intro to Politics, I was writing rhyme. African Studies, I was writing rhymes. All my papers are rhymes. You know what I'm saying? So then, and the thing about that is, luckily, Professor Terrell and Dr. Hicks, they didn't shun me. And that's what got me I think where I'm at now, because if they would have shut me down, I don't think the confidence level of what I do now would be where it is. But Dr. Hicks, when Dr. Hicks heard about what I was doing, she told the other professors, let him do what he's doing. This guy's doing something that nobody's done. And that led to 20-something years later, a top 50 graduate there. But I big up those professors.
Yeah.
It could have shut me down. I'd be a whole different person.
So now you're in a position to pay that back to the next generation,
Right. So that's how, when I'm teaching, I go with whatever you like. I don't have I don't give you the particular work, right? I'm like, yo, so we're doing PSAs. What do you want to do one on? What do you like? I like skateboarding. Let's do one on that. I'm not going to say, all right, everybody PSA this, you have to choose from these topics. I don't do that. I go, this is what it is. You want to do a PSA about that? Let's do it. You want to do a documentary about clothes? Let's do it. It's just that free thought of letting them guide and do what they want to do, because that's how I was embraced.
Right. But I mean, how much freedom do they allow you in terms of, over here in the UK, we call it the curriculum, in terms of what you can teach these children? And do you feel that the current American curriculum is it outdated, or does it match up to the current way that these young people consume information?
I think it's a little outdated based on the fact that there's no real life skills being taught, right? So we need more like things dealing with cooking. We need things dealing with financial literacy. We need things dealing with like real life situations being taught and asking them about how would you handle this? What if this is that? This is how this applies to that. So if you're learning math, you need to like maybe have a day of taking kids shopping with $10. You know, like put them in situations that are outside the box of just putting numbers on the board or writing on the board. For me, with my particular course with TV, film, and music, I created the curriculum. So fortunately, I have great support where I'm at. My principals, my assistant principals, people at the district, they support what I do because they've seen me on a career level and what I've achieved, but they also seen the results. So I'm very fortunate like that I run things the way I need to run them as far as the time basis. And I've, you know, people have asked me even, you know, about what I've created and possibly teaching it to other schools. So, you know, it's been embraced, which I'm very fortunate that they embrace it because of believing in what they see me do.
Man, so do you can you see yourself at some point running your own academy? And
yeah, man, that's what I would like. I would like to have my own academy or even my own academy in a school. Right? So maybe you go to this school, but in that school, that's my academy is in that school. So you come to that school and there's certain people that are there only for that particular thing. Because I've seen that occur too. People can have academies inside of another school. I wouldn't mind having my own building though, and that be what it is. I don't know if it will be as substantial because I'm teaching particular things. So it's not like they go to school, they get their math here, they get their civics and then history and so on and so forth. And then they come to me for an hour or so and then they go on. I don't think for a whole day that would be sufficient for a student to just come see me for these 3 or 4 particular things, you know, because I want them to be more well-rounded. Now, if I develop the whole academy, it would probably be more based on putting all of that together, though. The math class, with the math, you have to have a real life situation. You have to deal with rent. You have to deal with shopping. You have to deal with that. And that's how you pass the test. You go to, we're gonna have, this classroom is gonna be a store today. When you come in, you need to go shopping. This is the money you got, how much you got left. If you don't know how you change and you don't pay the right thing, you fail the test. So real life situations, it's a game changer, I think, how we should do it. You know, I just take it like wherever I'm at, I just kind of try to observe and absorb. And then if I'm asked what should be done, then I'll say, you know, I'm not necessarily, you know, that's kind of how I am. If you ask me my opinion, you really want to know, I really don't talk unless I really feel like my thing is thought out and it has some backing to it.
Right. Would you ever consider doing something like a TED Talk?
I definitely would love to do a TED Talk.
Right.
I think I kind of, that's one of my objectives is to get a TED Talk. I just know that I need to do some of these other objectives first.
Right.
Before I reach my goal. You know, my goal, I have a goal in mind, but there's so many objectives I need to reach to accomplish to get to the goal. So a TED Talk is I would love to do a TED Talk. That's kind of where I see what I want to do.
Right. But I mean, speaking to some other artists over the years, I mean, I know there's artists such as like J Live and I believe Car also that works in the school system as well as a teacher. What would you think of like almost bringing together like a community of MCs in education?
Yeah. I'm actually about to go to South by Southwest EDU. They got a South by Southwest EDU festival in
Okay.
May. Yeah, May 7th through 11th, I'm on a panel. It's called Hip Hop's Emerging Educational Industry. It has me,
Right.
J Live, MC Bravado. So we're all on that panel out there. So if anybody wants to check it out, it's South by Southwest.edu. So they got an educational thing, just like they got the concerts. And
Right.
you can type in Vincent Johnson, my name, and you'll see the panel that I'm on with those people. So I just actually filled out a Google form about, I guess they have a bookstore. So about getting my book in their bookstore while it's there, which I'm excited. They said it, it's up in the air who they're accepting, but if I get accepted for that book, my book's to be there. It's just gonna be dope to be able to be on that panel and say, yeah, go pick my book up. It's over there. And so yeah, those things I'm on. I spoke at Baruch College about a year or so ago as I was a guest speaker. So yeah, man, I'm there to do all of that. I don't mind coming out there, and I mean, that's kind of where I have to understand where I'm at career wise. As I'm able, that I gotta. That's why I'm doing these books and things like that, because those are things that I feel are age appropriate with where I am along the lines of the music. So that's why I do it. I also have the book in the audio version on my Bandcamp. So for those that listen to it, you can listen to the book too. It's me saying the rhymes, reading the book to you and everything.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. That's incredible, man. One thing I noticed throughout your career is that you seem to be very big on collaboration, and obviously collaborated with the late MF Doom, Talib Kweli, being a fan of Kool G Rap and being in a group with Master Ace from the Juice Crew. So out of all the legendary collaborations that you've done over the years, what are there any particular ones that stick out for any particular reasons?
I would say, of course, the EMC ones are big because I was a fan of Ace before I knew Ace, right? And then I'm on Ace album, but there's no thing about me doing an album with Ace. Who knows that, right? Like, I don't know that. That's huge. And then Kool G Rap one was just a dream come true. And me doing that album with Pearl Gates and Quincy Tones, which is the producer from out in the UK, did the whole album. Shout out to him. It's just like, if I would have never did that project with Gates, I would have never rhymed with Kool G Rap. Because Gates is an artist in his own right, and he actually sang a hook on a Kool G Rap album. G Rap owed him the favor. And Gates used that favor to be on our album. So now I wind up rhyming with my favorite artist. And so that would be something when I think about me sitting there on the floor playing cassettes of Kool G Rap, playing these cassettes of people and like knowing that he inspired me, and then to write a rhyme and be on the track with him and knowing my rhyme is as fire as that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to get on the track and then your rhyme ain't fire. You know what I'm saying? I'm just excited that you could listen to Gates verse fire, G-Rap verse fire, my verse fire, and be like, yo, they all just got busy. So.
That's phenomenal, man. And a word on you getting to tour around the world, obviously with Ace, and you mentioned going to South Africa. What was that experience of seeing people in different countries like the UK, knowing who you are, knowing your music, and what was that experience like for you?
It made me realize how small the world is. So, like us talking now, like sometimes when you live where you live, you don't know, like when I came to the UK, every time I came to the UK, I was trying to find oxtail, peas, and rice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know they had the spots like that there because I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And then you start to realize everything you have where you are, it's somewhere else too. There's a version of that there. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have that. I didn't know that. I'm thinking I'm going somewhere and they're not going to have that. They don't do that there. They don't know nothing about that. Now I can see it, right? We can just go live and be like, oh, they got that there, whatever the case. But then it was just like, I didn't know what to expect. So that was dope. And then my most important trip in my life was to South Africa. You know, it was the most important trip in my life. I've been there 3 times. And the one time that was the first time I went was so crazy because I was there for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I was there a week just to hang out. And then, so they brought me out for a week to hang out, take me everywhere. And then I had a week of doing shows and going to Joburg and then, you know, Cape Town and, you know, all these other cities. But going to the Hector Peterson Museum in Soweto, it really changed my whole mindset and ideology and reality of life. So if you ever get a chance to check out the Hector Peterson Museum, you can look it up on YouTube, but you get to go
right.
bit of apartheid in color. So it's kind of like it's like slavery tactics in color. So imagine that, like you can go into a museum and see pictures and see racists on TV in color talking that crazy language, and that's so crazy because to us it's kind of like, man, that's so long ago, right? Like, so you see pictures of it, or we don't even have pictures of it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like you'll see things drawn up about slave ships, but then there's no actual like real picture like that, stuff like that. But like apartheid was the real deal of racism on some next level. And to go in that museum and be able to see things in color makes you realize how dangerous it was. And apartheid, if I'm right, and I recall, ended in 94, if I'm right. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So 94, Nas dropped. I'm so removed from understanding what's going on in the 90s.
Yeah.
Get what I'm saying? Nas is dropping, Biggie and all this stuff is happening. I'm far removed to understanding that kind of like slavery type tactics were still going on, you know? It was explaining to me a lot of stuff about having this card. You had to have a card. You couldn't be downtown at a certain time. You know, if you was Black, you couldn't do this. It was, you know, it was just like, it just changed my whole mindset of understanding life. So if you have a chance, go there. You could look it up on YouTube. I think they have it on YouTube, kind of like some information about it. I watched the video. I think they even go inside in the museum a little bit. But like, I'm telling you, man, a little white girl was crying because she saw how heinous that her race had treated others. Because now, remember now, at the time, she's kind of oblivious to that. Because she's growing up in a world in which everybody's kind of merging out there. So, you know, for me, it felt odd seeing people so friendly to each other, knowing that years ago, it wasn't like this. But when I asked one of my friends out there, he was just like, man, well, we got to move on. If we stay angry, we won't move on. And then seeing that little girl cry, seeing how people was treated, and then seeing the teacher console her because they was on a school trip. It was wild, man. It's just wild, man. So that gives me a whole another appreciation of life. Yeah.
Man, that's incredible. And in terms of countries you're yet to visit or performing.
Before you go, I gotta shout Jonesy D.
Yes. Okay.
And you know, and Jonesy D and Nikki for bringing me out there doing a jazz album. I forgot, was it jazz hip hop album, something like that. I was performing out there for an album, and Jonesy D see me rocking. He said, "Yo, you want to go to South Africa?" And I was like, "All right, sure." And he put me on. So shout out to Jonesy D for putting me on to South Africa. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jonesy D is a good personal friend of mine, so I'll make sure that he gets the message. Definitely.
Gotta shout CD. Gotta shout
Mm,
Jonesy D. I sent in the book when it came out. Gotta
yeah,
shout Jonesy D.
wicked, amazing, man, amazing. So after that experience, I mean, I guess you can only get out during summer semester now, right? To when
Yeah,
it
I do
comes to
spot.
traveling.
Yeah, but I do spot dates like right now, right? So after tomorrow, I got like a whole week off, whole week and some
Okay.
change. It's so
Mm,
wild because like this was like probably the best job I've ever had,
mm,
right? Like I'm able to like give back, help the future, do what I do what I love doing, and then I get breaks here and there, which is like weekends off that I can go fly to a state or a city, do a show on a Saturday, fly out Sunday, and then be back home.
mm.
And it wasn't like that before.
Right.
So it's a blessing. But like you said, then I get the summer, I get almost like 3 months to just kind of chill and work on music and go do shows and
Mm.
go visit friends and come back and still do what I do, man. So it's a blessing. It's upon a blessing, man. It's next level for me.
Oh man. And so how did the pandemic affect you last year in terms of a creative and personally, did it hit you
That's
guys
what.
hard?
That's why I wrote a book. It sat me down to be
Mm,
like, there's no excuse. So I sat down and I was like, write this book. So every day I got up and I stuck with that same scenario. Just started writing the book. I said, I'm gonna write this book. I said, I'm at home, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna write this book. I've always
mm,
been talking about this book. Let me write this book.
yeah.
And that's what I did. And it was just kind of leery as far as like going out. Of course, it's hard to go out and still you're so skeptic, can't have nobody over, can't visit. It was hard for me because on March 13th, around that time when it really was like popping off in New York, I had a trip
Mm,
to go see my parents. So that was
mm,
rough because I couldn't go see them.
mm,
And I hadn't seen them since how rough that was. So,
mm,
now traveling is a little bit, so that was that's harsh when you're seeing your parents through the screen, of course. That's not the same.
mm,
Um, but overall, it just really on a creative level, I just take advantage, man. I learned I don't play no games with the time now, man. So like this week, I got stuff I want to do. I got other books that I started. Um, I got other songs I need to do. I just as soon as tomorrow hit, I can stay up all night and do whatever I want to do for the next week and some change. I'm just on it.
mm, mm. That's amazing, man. So I guess writing that book, it gave you an opportunity to start to think about your legacy. And so for my next question, what would you consider the legacy of Wordsworth, the artist?
It's gonna be father, husband, author, writer, rapper. So that's kind of how it's been built from the beginning in a way. I started as the rapper, right? Then I became a better writer, and to reach the mountain hills to me is being that author, you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like that's how I kind of feel that's the way it is. Like doing these different things and different levels of what I can do. So the legacy for me is going to be with my kids being able to just like live off of what I did. So that's another driving force for me with all these things is just to own as many IPs that I can create and things like that. So it's just like forever money, right? Like
Mm,
that's the one thing about money, music and about books
mm,
and things that I've done and that I'm continuing to do. It's just like it's forever. Somebody could buy a book right now and I get that. And
mm,
down the line, somebody could buy my book 20 years from now. They
mm,
get that. My kids get it.
mm,
So, I plan on doing the book, just keep doing the books. And I think that opens up the next level of where I'm going, being on these panels, talking about education, talking about creativity, talking about writing a song. You know, there's different ways to write music for cartoons than it is to write a verse. Storytelling. So many things I could delve into, man. I mean, I could talk about so much for hours of how to do it. And I'm just happy to be here, to be able to do it. I think I would say I'm in a better position than I ever been.
Yeah. No, that's incredible, man. And I mean, speaking to many artists such as yourself, one, I guess I'd say subtle complaint that they have is that they don't really get the props they deserve for their contribution to the culture, you know, and they tend to feel it more when they come out of the States. I don't know, is that something that resonates with you?
I think it did before, for sure, because when we started touring, and in the States, it was very split. It was very commercial versus backpack and underground. It was very split, radio-wise, everything. But now today, you don't need radio. So now you can be a mega star without no airplay. So that changed it. So people getting their props they deserve, that has changed now. You're global. I think you just gotta kind of evolve with what you got and play the cards you're dealt. That's kind of my vibe with it. It's just like play the cards I'm dealt and go from it like that. I've never been one to really like harp on like anything, you know. And that's one reason why like I have a regret of not taking a lot of pictures, because when I was younger, I used to not take a lot of pictures because I used to see the old timers reminisce so much because they didn't make it past anything but reminiscing, that I didn't want to be the old timer that reminisced. So I always lacked on pictures, which I should have done anyway. But I'm always so much caught up with trying to figure out the next thing to evolve with, that, you know, that's just kind of my mindset with things like that. So just trying to evolve, man. Just trying to evolve. And, you know, like if I came to the UK now, I would love to come to the UK to talk to a college as opposed to come rhyme, you know? That's kind of what my mind is. But I don't mind rhyming and doing a show at the same time combined. But I think I have to understand the fact that where I am is my knowledge is what has me in the position I'm in. So sharing that knowledge is big for me, and people can invite me to open up a bookstore for them. They can invite me to do something totally different that has nothing to do with rapping. So
yeah. So basically entering the realm of someone like, say, a KRS-One now, where he'll come and do a show and then he'll lecture at a university and do other things.
All of that type of stuff. That's where I am with it. Like, you know, that's where I want to go with it.
Man, that's incredible, man. But before I go, do you want to say anything about the current project that you've got out called Undivided Attention with JF?
Yeah, shout out to Real JF. You know, that's his tag on Instagram. But shout out to JF. JF is the reason I met Ace.
Okay, nice.
All right, so JF, when I was doing the Lyricist Lounge, JF and Punch met each other, and Punch approached me about JF wanted to do a project with me and Punch. So we did the EP. Right. While he's doing the EP, he's actually putting out a single with Strick that Ace is producing.
Right.
He says, I got these two guys, Punch and Words, plays it to Ace. Ace says, yo, I want them on my album. We get on Disposable Arts.
Right.
We go on tour with Ace. I come to the UK. All right. JF is our DJ at that time.
Right.
And so I've known JF since that time of 2001 and on to this day. And he's been a turntablist for years. And he put out a previous project called Believe It or Not that had me on it. And after doing that song on there, he was like, yo, why don't we do a whole project? So we wanted to do a project, Undivided Attention. 5 songs produced by Jay DePina, 1 song produced by Donnell Smokes, in which got the book with, New Beginning,
Nice.
that album. And then the intro song is produced by somebody else from the UK, Kels with the Heat.
Right.
All right. One of my favorite songs on Undivided Attention that I recommend everybody listen to, featuring Master Ace, is called Remember.
Right. Okay.
Check that out. My next album, man, this whole UK connection is crazy. My next album, shout out to Greg Blackman too for singing on the album, on the Champion Sounds album. But my next whole album coming out in February is produced by Kels with the Heat.
Oh, wow.
Album.
Man.
Yeah, and it's honestly, to me, it's my best album ever, personally.
Wow.
It'll probably be next to Mirror Music if it had to be a 1-2, you know?
Yeah.
But it's I mean, Kels with the Heat, if you know Kels with the Heat, musically it's just so crazy. So yeah, when people hear that, I think they're gonna be like, yo, this is crazy. So watch for the album. At that same time, the book should be done. So I'll be dropping the other book. The classes that I'm talking about virtually, I'm recording coming up in the next month or so. Next few months, that'll be out. And then I'm at South by Southwest for a week out there. Educational panel. Man, it's a blessing, man. I'm telling you, man. I really appreciate being here this long with this project and stuff.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. Just to see your evolution from the 90s to where you are right now, man, and to feel that energy from you to be in such a like evolved state, you know, is incredible, man. And also definitely we'd expect to see you in the UK touring at some point next year, right? If you've got an album coming.
Man, if somebody could bring me out for a show or two, or put me with somebody touring out there and hook it up, I'll come out there, man. I'm telling you, man. My show, man. You know, I can't have a whack show, especially coming up with Ace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, my show game is wild, man. So I would love to do some shows out there, or like I said, bring me out to do something else. You know, like talk to kids. Bring me out on an educational level, on some educational panel, maybe to some of the universities and things like that. So utilize me for more than maybe rapping. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Utilize me for more than rapping. Like, yo, you know, Words got the music business stuff. We should bring him out for that. Words teaches TV, film, and music, but bring him out to talk to kids for that. He can write scripts, show kids how to do that. It's just like that's where I am in my life, and I really love where things are because there's so many branches still growing on this tree. So I got other things, man. I wrote a musical. So
wow.
I wrote a musical, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So down the line, man. So
yeah, man. So you're gonna give the guy that wrote Hamilton a run for his money?
That's kind of the plan, man. I envision what I'm writing and what I do to be, I think what I write and what I create is special when it's embraced, you know? So it's one of those things of like, when people see it and get to hear it, I think they'll understand it and it'll go from there. But like, I've learned, right? I think one of the main reasons I'm successful is that I complete objectives first.
Yes.
I got that from that steadiness. I got that from Ace, and I got that steadiness from Prince Paul. Right? Those are the people that when I talk to them, they're very logical. So I know these major things that are in my mind will not work unless I complete these objectives. So I'm very objective forward. So I don't skip stuff. I'm not into like, yo, let's jump over here. I'm not with that. I'll be like, nah, we gotta get this first. And I got that from them. And that seems to be the recipe to success in my eyes. Is the first things first vibe.
Yes. And in terms of hip hop mentors, it doesn't really come much better than Master Ace and Prince Paul. So you're definitely in an amazing position right now.
How about this? When I was taking music to get my master's in music business, they showed a videotape of a YouTube link of Prince Paul. to talk about sampling.
And
I'm watching this like, this is funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I know this guy. You know, nobody knows I know him, but I'm watching it like, how crazy is this that they're using a YouTube link of Prince Paul to teach people about sampling? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, those people are definitely people that I hold in high regards when I have a question or about life, not even about music, just life. I can call them and say, yo, what do you think about that? And they're gonna give me sound advice about it. So that's how I look at it.
That's amazing, man. That's incredible, man. But Words, I know you're obviously a very busy man. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to kick it with us. You know, it's definitely been a very enlightening and informative discussion. You know, and it really has.
I appreciate it because I know how people may perceive me. They hear me rhyme and this and that, but like and I'm not like, maybe, especially when I got those years, that gap of years, but it's like, I get it. But like, I understand, man. I understand how it is, but you know, just gotta keep doing stuff.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, and it probably affects UK artists more, but I mean, it's like life gets in the way. You know, all of us would love to be super prolific, but you know, some of us have to get married, have children, and you know,
right.
And before you know it, the years just fly by. So
that's really it.
Yeah, man. So that's fantastic, man. So officially, I want to just say to you once again, thank you so much for taking time to kick it with the Connoisseurs of Hip Hop on the Head-to-Head series, man. And we want to continue to wish you the best going forward. Looking forward to seeing you in the UK next year, hopefully. And yeah, man, and definitely wish you all the best on the new book when it comes, and the new album and the current project that you got out now. You know, and thank you for your service to the culture. Of course, man. You know, truly an inspiration, man.
Thank you.
Much respect in that regard. So much, man.
Thanks, Scan.
Peace, man.